You are listening to the Rare Gems podcast with your host, Cass the Gems.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the Rare Gems podcast. It's your host, Cass the Gems, and today I have the whole crew with me. Why is Lena laughing?
I'm thinking of the TikTok.
The TikTok. When you talk in front of your friends and you just can't stop laughing, you just can't get out what you're saying. I have the whole crew with me. We have manager Lauren. Hey, Laura.
Hey.
I have Lena's back in town, guys. She's here. She came back around. Lena Piccinini. We have our OG Little Gems who have now migrated to Crystal Stylists, Heather and Devan. And today we are just going to be discussing starting in the industry. Me, Lauren, and Lena started together after we went to cosmetology school together, and we did our entire hair journey together, and we've ended up now back together again. And Heather and Devan have been on the floor now for a year and a half, and they have really just done all of the things to get to where they are, and they have come such a long way in such a short time. So I figured this episode, if you know somebody that is in cosmetology school or wants to go to cosmetology school, this is going to be the episode for them to show them how quickly you can grow your book and you can really just get it going at a young age. So that's where we're going today with this episode, as well as retouching on boundaries, because there was some, what's the word? Confusion on what we were talking about in our last episode. So let's start with, me, Lena, and Lauren, we went to cosmetology school together, and we've been BFFs ever since. And
yeah, I was thinking, is that how we became friends, right?
That's how we became friends, yeah. So that was how long ago now?
On the bus to Votech.
Oh my God. We started in 2006, so I can't do the math.
Wait, I went to the same vocational school as you guys. Isn't that crazy?
You lived right there.
I know, but it's just like crazy to think about.
We also went to cosmetology school with your big sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Wow.
That was
One
fun.
big circle.
You were a little baby.
He was a baby.
I actually didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I always forget
Lauren's
that.
known me since I was like,
An actual baby.
and I was twirling those days too.
Twirling your hair. So we all went to Votech. Dev, you went to?
The Salon Professional Academy. In
Okay. So we started cosmetology school. Me and Lauren started working in a salon when we were together when we were 16, right?
Yeah, you got me the job.
Yeah,
there.
I got you a job there. And you were working
At a salon also, a different one.
a different one. And then Lena went into barbering
Yes.
full time, pretty
Yes.
much, right?
I quit the salon and started barbering when I didn't know how to barber. I lied. And I was like, yeah, I could do men's hair. I needed a job, and I started working at a barbershop.
And how long were you at the barbershop for?
My first barbershop I worked at was in Oakhurst, New Jersey.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, it was in Deal. So he was a friend of my dad's that he broke his shoulder. So he was like, I know you do hair. I have a full book clientele. Like, we have a lot of walk-ins. Like, I need someone to come take my spot. Like, do you do men's hair? I'm like, yeah, how hard could it be? So I started like that week later, and it was a lot of kids and gentleman cuts. So it was easy for me because I was, comfortable with scissors. So I did that. I think I was there for like a season, because then when winter came, it was completely dead and I was making no money. So our friend Dalitza, her boyfriend at the time, was going to Justin's barbershop in Manalapan. So he's like, oh, you're a barber, why don't you go work there? So that's really where my career started, because that's where I learned how to fade and do all that.
At Justin's. Right. And you were there for a while.
I think 7 or 8 years.
And then you wanted to start dabbling back into women's hair, right?
Yeah, I was fully booked at the barbershop. I was traveling and teaching at the time, so I feel like my career there kind of came to a standstill because I wasn't making any more money and booking more clients. So I'm like, what else can I do? So I decided to go back to the salon because I already had my men clientele booked, that I knew they would follow me at the salon, and then I could rebuild my women's hair clientele.
And what I think is, it just goes to show like how cool the industry is, because you can just find your niche and like what works for you, or change your mind after a couple of years. Like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, you can change it up.
Yeah.
There's so many different things you can do. And yeah, now we're back.
And now I'm back here.
We've been wanting to work back with Lena again we went without you for what, 3 years?
3 years.
3 years too long.
I miss my girls.
It was so hard.
Everybody would ask, is Lena coming to work here?
Everybody for 3 years. Where's Lena? Where's Lena? I'm
like, we don't know.
I really just wanted to make everyone's dream come
Eventually.
true, so I came back. But it's nice to be back. It feels like I've never left their side. So it's good.
God.
So if we had to say, like, if you had to say what's the one thing that helped you grow your book, what would it be? Like starting out at an early age. Like if you had to give somebody advice that was just starting.
Basically, I wouldn't be picky with who was sitting in my chair. When I was at the salon, I was mainly just assisting and like doing like a couple people here and there. Like when I started the barbershop, that was where I was like, I need to fill my book ASAP. And it was easier in a barbershop because men come a lot sooner. So they were coming every week, every 2 weeks. Women come every couple months. So while the other barbers, you know, were picky, they just wanted to do fades all day. No one wanted to do kids. No one wanted to do long hair. No one wanted to do the older men. So I said, I'll take whoever wants to sit in my chair. So then I started building my book that way.
And you like genuinely love doing like men's cuts.
Yeah.
Fading and
I do.
doing all the things.
I genuinely
and
love
like
I love doing everything, honestly. That's why I went back to
given
women's
me
hair.
so much anxiety. Like I literally don't know how to cut. I look at it and I'm just like, it doesn't process in my
Zero
brain.
sense.
Like I've watched
I know.
Lena cut for 13 years and I just can't do it.
It's the same as layering. It's just a lot shorter.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but like the guards confuse me.
I just can't get that first
like-
line out.
We've had so many. We've had so many lessons, and I'm just like, you're like, it's the flick of your wrist. I'm like, yeah.
The flick of the wrist. Honestly, I feel like if you have an eye for it, then just like if you could see like a bad haircut, your eye is trained to that. It's the same thing with men's hair. I actually compare it a lot to doing makeup because I feel like when you see there's something that needs to be blended, you have to keep blending it and take off that makeup. So in my head, that means you have to make the hair shorter and it blends.
That's funny because I'm not the best at doing my makeup, I don't think. But when I'm doing my eyeshadow, I'm like, it's the same as blending. Like when I'm painting, like if it has to be more blended, it has to be more blended on my face. I always think about that now.
I just feel like you have to have an eye for it, but definitely building the book wise, you just, especially starting out, you can't say no and be picky because you're here to make money at the same time. Once you start getting busier, then you can get more picky with who you want in your book.
And that's what we were saying in the last episode with the boundaries thing. And like, I mean, I know this, but I guess I didn't, watching back the clips, I didn't realize how like controversial it could look from afar and the outside, like if you weren't listening to the episode.
Yeah.
But boundaries, there's so many different levels to it. It's like,
Basically, all we were saying was just in the beginning, like, you have to do it all. And
Yeah.
just, like, pay your dues. And we weren't touching on, like, shitty clients and getting disrespected. Like, that was, like, not part of the conversation at all. Like, no one should get disrespected ever. It doesn't matter how old they are. And we were just talking about exactly what Lena was just saying.
And like putting in your time.
Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of newer stylists that I see, they kind of want to just be like, well, I want to work these hours and then I want to go out and I'm going to leave early and blah, 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 blah. Like, I was there open to close whether I had clients or not. And I think that is super important. Like, yes, in a barbershop, there's a lot more walk-ins, but still, like, we get phone calls all the time that people want haircuts and blowouts last minute. And I think it's very important to still just be there, even though if you don't have clients in the beginning, that's how you build your clientele. And a walk-in could come with like, okay, you have like an old lady blowout that nobody wants to do, but she has a daughter, she has grandchildren,
Exactly,
and like that's how you start building your book. Like a lot of my clientels are like families, like it's not just
Right.
one person, which obviously you guys could
That's what-
say too. So
and
I think the boundary thing was more like just be open and put in your time.
if you want to build your book fast, right?
Right.
Like if you have, you know, you're like, I don't want to take color corrections. I don't want to do this. I want to specialize in blonding. Like that's fine. And I think that specializing in something is amazing and wonderful. And actually, like you can make more money doing that because you're niche-y. You have that one thing that people are going to pay more money to come to. But to get to that point, like it's just probability. Like you have to have an open book and you're not going to get good and know all of the techniques and all the things that you have to do when the client comes in if you're not expanding your horizons and accepting all of these clients, which we tell you guys when we train you. Like you just have to do it.
Well, and it's important to be well-rounded. When you get to the point where we are, that like my book is predominantly blonding, but sometimes things slip through the cracks, and if you don't know how to do other things, like what happens then? You know?
And down to, me and Joey said the other day, like down to business stuff. Like if we ever wanted to have another location, like management wise, you have to have someone that knows the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Because if you only are doing blondes,
Right.
how are you going to know if the client's wrong, if the hairstylist is wrong, who's wrong in the situation, and how to help the client
Right.
or the stylist, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like for like my first year, I just told myself like, just say yes to everything.
Yeah.
Like just keep saying yes, and what comes around will go around.
And that time goes by so
Yeah,
fast, you know?
like it sucks. Like you have to come in on a Sunday. Who wants to work on a Sunday? But like you have to say yes. Like there was so many times I'd be asked like oh yeah, like okay, I'll do it if I have to, but like it's worth it.
It's
you
worth
know?
it.
But then they'll remember that next time.
Yeah, and then
And be
like
like,
even
okay.
like for example, like that wedding that you guys had, like good thing you know how to do makeup because
Yeah.
we say like, you know, I had an interest in makeup, but if God forbid somebody came and there was a mix up and they needed makeup done, like I know how to do makeup.
Exactly.
Do I want to always be doing makeup? No, but I can do it if it came down to it, you know?
It's good we have the little ones backing us up right now. What we said.
No, I feel like the last podcast was a wake up call, like for me, because, you know, I've been here for what, over 3 years now. And like, I feel like you need a little bit of a reminder, like, you know, I am still young, like you need to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
Well, now's our time too to just like grind. Like I
Yeah,
feel like we
For
have
sure. Because you have the energy.
just hustle and
Yeah.
And you have, you
know?
have your whole life. When
Right.
you guys are the prime example of making it in this industry when you're young. And I'm sure you're making more money than all of your friends right now. You have no debt.
holler.
You paid for,
I just paid
well,
my car off.
she paid her car off.
You just got it like 2
She
months
paid
ago.
her, she just got her Audi and she just paid it off. So how's that for you? And
Not to brag at all though.
no,
like, 'cause
not,
I really
no,
am
because
just.
but you work so hard.
Yeah.
You have really no boundaries, essentially. Like she's always available. I know I can give her a wedding. I could give
Yeah.
really you guys anything, and you're like, yep, I'm there. I'll do it. Which those are like, if I could clone you guys, if I could clone Joelle, clone Allie, I would, because I'm just like, they don't make them like you guys anymore.
It also speaks to why we work so well as a team too, because we can rely on each other so much. There's so many times where there's like 911 situations in here where someone shows up that doesn't have an appointment, and you know there's someone in here that's always gonna say yes. Like we're gonna make it work. So when people ask like, how do you guys work so well together? It's because everyone's willing.
We all have the same value. We
Yeah, we're here to bail each other out, and it just works. So.
So you went to,
So I went to private high school, so they didn't offer like vocational
Okay.
option. So had to do cosmetology school after the fact. So I was basically doing that while I was taking classes at Brookdale. And eventually Brookdale just was like, there was like no point to like going anymore. So cosmetology school was September to May, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. So I was like in and out in like less than a year, like 9 months, like a regular school year. Yeah, it was great. No complaints.
and then you went and worked. When I hired you, you were taking a break, right?
Yes, I worked for another salon in Point Pleasant for probably a little over 2 years, stuck with them through COVID, came back after COVID, went through like a really like rough patch at the end of like 2020. And then I was like, can't do this anymore. Like, I feel like I was down in the dumps, didn't really want to do hair anymore. It was just like, and I wasn't even on the floor yet. So for me
Right,
to have
right.
that mentality, not even being on the floor, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm literally like, what am I doing? So I left, took like 3 months to like myself. My dad was like, you should probably just chill out. Like, you're in a position where you're at home, no bills. Like, who has it better than that? Like, and then Melissa Rago was my babysitter, and she said, you know, she was.
funny.
She
Yeah,
was. She
she was
babysat me
younger.
for years. And
But I saw your inquiry come through before I even, like, I saw it and I was like, oh, she's cute. Like, I'm going to interview her. And then I had already decided I was going to interview you. And then Melissa cross-checked. She was like, oh, you're having an
well,
interview.
and then I
with-"
knew
was
like Matt
oh.
Stroud, Paul Alvier, like all of those guys who work over at Relentless, and they were like, oh, Cassie's so dope. Like, you should literally just apply. But didn't tell anyone I was applying because I was just like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to get it. Like, such a prestigious salon.
Oh, thank God.
I know.
Thank God for Debbie.
I love you, honey.
I remember I had COVID. Yes.
That's heaven.
Heaven. But I had COVID.
So we had to do a
We had to do a
FaceTime
FaceTime interview. I remember I was like hacking up a lung. Like while we were on FaceTime, I was like, oh my God, she's probably like, what the fuck? Like, but rest is.
No, I remember our FaceTime
history.
interview. I was like, I think I said to her, I was like, she speaks so like fluently and like just like.
Articulate.
Yes,
Stop.
yes.
Yeah, I love that about her. 'Cause,
Me
you
too.
know-
Lauren Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Twinnie.
I mean, listen, between me and you, Heather, listen, between me and you, and like the 500 people around.
I was trying to poach Heather like before we were even open. Remember we were at Kat's bridal shower,
yes.
and I was like, I might have an opportunity for you.
She was
but,
like, I can't say.
I can't say, and you're like, what does that mean? And I was like,
I'm
I
like, just
can't
say it.
So yeah, when I interviewed you, you were at another salon that was like older ladies, right?
Yeah, it was like
a-
10 minutes up the road from my house, so I was just like, it was just close to home, and a friend was just like, oh, like I know a salon that's looking to hire, so I just went and interviewed and I got the job. Like if I wanted to, I could have worked with my sisters, but I don't know, it just didn't like happen that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was there since I was 16, so, and then I came here, when I was 18?
Yeah.
God, I'm so old.
Yeah, when I was 18.
Little babies.
Yeah,
Little
baby.
babies. Your glow up is so real. You're like so different now.
So
I know.
different.
Yeah, like you were a little baby. Both of you
were.
guys were, I mean, it hasn't even been that long, but like
I know.
you've just grown up so much and it's probably too
Yeah.
with working around. Like,
Well, I feel like Heather and I are. I feel like Heather and I like we have
Senior
similar
citizens.
Like we grew up. I feel like
Right.
around older people.
Yeah,
I
like
have
we're
older
old souls for our
cousins.
age. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I just enjoy being, like I think you guys are my friends.
Yeah,
like my
'cause
sisters
We
are older.
are.
I just
Because we're
mesh
cool.
better with like older people.
But you guys are both very
That's
mature
why
for
like
your
me and
age.
Devin, like, you
That's
know,
why we get along.
we beat to the same wavelength. Like we're like
Beat to the
Beat
same
to the same
drum.
drum.
Well, it's kind of ruined me. It's kind of ruined me as a manager because I'm like expecting everyone to just be like,
like
you guys. And I'm like, you can't. That's not fair. It's not
yeah, I
fair.
don't know.
I know.
No baby games, guys.
So if you had to give advice to someone starting in the industry, what would it be?
I guess coming off of like a bad salon, not that it was like bad, but honestly, just like stay the course. Like I feel like a lot of people give up too quickly, and I feel like I gave it like another great shot, and like look where I am. Like I feel like I worked my ass off. Like I had assisted already for 2 years, and I was like, okay, well, I'm literally gonna be at the salon of my dreams, so like I don't care how long I have to assist. Like I know it's gonna be worth it. So I feel like
And I know, not to cut you off, but I know when like you're in it from experience, like when you're assisting, you feel like it's just never gonna end. So you're like, you know, I know. You're like, it's never gonna end, but it goes by. When you look back, you're like, okay, it
was
was a
so
year and a
quick.
half, but like, did it really feel like a year and a half? I think I
No.
assisted for 4 years.
I think I assisted a year.
I
But then I
didn't.
started barbering. So
I didn't
Lauren
assist
didn't
at
assist.
all. I only assisted when Cass like wanted to go to the football games.
Yeah, like
I was the receptionist.
we're going back so far. Yeah, Laura
Yeah.
would like bail me out of the salon and be like, "Yo, psst, can you clean up after me? I want to head out."
Yeah,
And
which
then
is
I'd
why
get-
I still can't really do a shampoo to this day. It's not great.
I'd get in trouble from my old
well, you don't
boss.
even like conditioner, so.
Yeah, I hate it. Yeah. But it, like you were saying, it's such a thing that people give up too early in this industry because.
And I wasn't gonna let that like bad experience like define me. Like I knew I had a little bit of a niche for it. Like I was
yeah.
I really liked makeup. I was a cheerleader. Like I was doing everyone's hair, everyone's
Yeah.
makeup all the time. And you know, in high school, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to college. Like I know I'm gonna go to college. Like I'm not to toot my own horn, but like I was so smart. So
Toot toot.
I mean, me too.
No, that was me. Like I almost went down that rabbit hole too. Like what a trap. Like I really almost did.
Yeah, it's definitely not for
I-
everybody.
Well, if you, think
you
about.
did go to college for a
Well,
hot
yeah.
minute, and what did I say?
I almost went down
Yeah,
that
Cass
rabbit
was
hole.
just like, we'll see how
Such a
long that
trap.
lasts. No, but before I
Because
even.
from my perspective, like the second I started training you, and I saw you put your hands on foil, and the second I saw you put your hands on bleach and a foil, like
Not the
you just
teasy-
can
not the
tell,
teasy lights,
like, and
though.
somebody has it, like you can not those teasy lights.
Not
When
telling you
somebody
about
has it, like you just, it's like the posture, it's the way that you hold the, like you could just, you could just tell. Now that like I'm training and I'm watching, I'm like, oh, yep. You
Like,
know?
she's a natural.
Like I can
Oh, this
pinpoint it.
one's
So
not.
when you were doing that, and then you came to me and you were like, I think I'm going to cut my hours a little bit because I'm going to go to school. I was like, I roll. Okay.
Yeah, she's like, let's see how long this goes.
She also just like randomly got her real estate license too, just like crushing life.
Yeah, she's just doing all of the things.
Yeah.
I just feel like, why not? Like,
Yeah.
it can't hurt you.
Why
Just to
not?
like have.
Just keep going.
I feel like if you can get licensed in something, then like it's good to have.
For
you know?
sure.
I mean, the whole college thing, like, that was like different.
Right.
But I feel like before I even interviewed with you, I was like, same thing with you. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't even really like this. Like, hair school sucks.
But also too, I mean,
hair school did
hair
suck.
school's not fun. Like, I get so
We
many
had so much
DMs.
fun in here.
We had fun, but there was also so many people that didn't even care to take the test and quit before we even
Right.
got there.
And that
Yeah.
would make me
Yeah.
so sad because I'm like,
Like,
that's
we're
somebody's
right here.
spot that like wants to
Yeah.
actually do it for free. And like people were just in it to like, that would piss me off so bad.
But I came from
I'm
a
like,
private
you're taking
school
somebody's spot.
background.
No, it's not that it wasn't a miserable
Yeah.
I had a blast.
environment.
I also
We
did
had a
It's
great
just,
time.
it's a lot more serious than like you would think. Like you would, when you think of hair school, you're like, oh my god, it's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna do like fun things all day. Like no,
No.
Well, that's
you
why I
were,
was
like
second
doing
guessing.
anatomy and
Yeah, yeah,
math
that's-
and
that's ass.
chemistry.
But we had
and-
fun.
I didn't do anything I was supposed to do. You guys remember? I would make fun of you because you had your index cards and you were like
I
studying
was
all
so
the time.
serious.
And I
always
was just
studying.
like-
I'd be in the bathroom
I
all
was
day.
too.
Lena would be sitting in the bathroom with the door open, and our teacher would be like quizzing us, and she'd be yelling from the bathroom, "How do you spell that?" Just like sitting in the
We're
bathroom.
torturing the principal. Like, we didn't even do
Well, we
anything.
tortured him. But I was always doing my makeup, always getting yelled at. Miss C. Oh,
Shout out to
Ladies.
Missy.
shout out to Miss C, Miss Camposano. She
If
was-
anybody comes across us and they know who Missy is, send her this.
yeah, and she would
podcast.
yell at me
She's
all
an
the
angel.
time, and I'm like, I got it, Miss C, don't worry about it. And I did. I passed. I was actually terrified because she pulled us all aside and like told us all our results. She's like, Lauren, I kept telling you to study. I'm like, no way did I fail. She's like, you got the highest grade. I'm like, told you.
That's not shocking. She told me I made it by a point. I said that's not shocking either.
Well, it's hard.
But there's a lot of people that don't pass like
No.
multiple. Remember, like we used to work with someone. She took it 14 times.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The Ray part's really hard, and then they change all the tests that it makes you think like you're going crazy.
Heather and I didn't even take the state board.
Yeah, now it's
Oh
different.
yeah, you guys got out of that because
Yeah.
it's COVID.
We did like just the
We just did the written.
Oh, so you guys are a scam.
Sunny too. She only took the
Yeah.
written.
That's
Scam.
crazy.
All my little
Yeah, but really though, like for
artists.
you guys who took the practical, like do you really use any of it at all?
I remember I was
No.
so nervous.
I don't
Not
do
the
one thing I learned from
practical.
cosmetology.
I took such a
Exactly.
big chunk. Stephanie Mercer was my model. I was doing the razor part and I was like shaking and I took the biggest chunk out of her hair. It was so scary.
Remember
That's
when
why
I
I won't
waxed
use a
off Kara's
razor.
eyebrow?
Yeah, I refuse.
But at that time they were doing it, remember in that big arena? I forget. It was like
Yeah,
Rowden
yeah.
something. So we're like standing on an arena floor. Like
Do you remember me hysterically crying the whole way home on the bus because I thought I failed? Guys, I took
Cass
this
crying?
very
Cass
seriously.
I've never. Wait, I've seen you cry maybe like once or twice.
Cried the whole way home.
well, we all passed. You were like serious about studying though. And she
So very serious.
would yell at all of us all the time.
I don't
She
think I
was trying to
studied. I can't study. I have ADHD. It just
Shocker.
whoop, goes right out.
Shocker.
Heath, what were you going to say? We all kept cutting you off.
No, I was gonna say it's hard when you're in high school and like all your friends are like, "Oh my god, I'm going to this school. Like, what school are you going to?" And I'm
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Right.
You need to
Exactly.
drop
So
out.
like for a
Exactly.
hot second, like when I wasn't loving the salon that I was in, like I was just like, "Oh, like maybe I should go to like college and do what everybody else does," you know?
It's
But
hard to-
It's hard.
you get
yeah.
influenced.
Even
And,
when you're
like,
graduating, like
When I say, like, I'm like, oh, beauty school over college, whatever, like, I'm not, like, knocking people that, like, if you want to go to college and, like,
Yeah,
that's your
yeah.
soul's purpose, like, and that's what you have to do what you want to do in life, like, obviously do that.
Right.
I'm saying it in the sense that, like, if you go to Votech and you're lucky enough, and then you're lucky enough to end up in a decent salon and be able to grow your
Yeah.
book and do all of these things that we're talking about
Right.
to grow your book, you are going to be more well off financially because you're not going to be in debt. You don't have $100,000.
Well, especially going to private school
Yeah.
too, like no one did trade school at all. No one.
because it's looked down upon. It's
Right.
like this. It's still a
Right,
stigma.
exactly. So that was definitely hard. You definitely like I was
Well,
like, oh, I'm
yeah.
a loser going to hair school.
Yeah, my mom did not want me to, and she was a hairstylist like for a long time when I was growing up, and she was pissed. Like wanted me, and I did go to community college for a little while, but I could not focus because I just thought to myself like I'm already working in a salon. I'm already doing what I want to do. Like, this is not, I can't put my energy into this.
That's
And
exactly
it
what
didn't
happened with
last.
me. Was I was here, I would assist, and then I would take clients at night, and then I'd be like, oh shit, I had class tonight, like, and I would just skip class, and then I just started to fall behind, and I was like, why am I doing this? Like,
Yeah.
I can just be, for one, making money, and for two, like,
And I did the same thing. I was in school to get my health insurance because you still had health insurance when you were a student. So my mom was like, you're going to get an education. Instead of me paying for your health insurance, I was like, okay, cool. But I was teaching dance, doing hair, and going to school at the same time. I was like, this is out of control. And then it got to the point where, right, I could take a client or I could go to my class.
Go to
and I was
class.
like, Mom, I'm quitting. This is so stupid.
Yeah, I
it was,
started skipping
it was just a
school,
conflict
too.
of interest, like
never went.
I was already doing something I enjoyed, like, what was the
My
point?
dad was like, I'm not paying for that. Go to VOTEC, honey. You'll be great.
Yeah, my dad was on
Look
that
at
page.
you.
He's like, you're going to the Marine Corps or you're going to go to trade school.
Yeah, I wanted to be a police officer.
Really? Well, and people still, like, knock our career. Like, oh, you're a hairdresser? Like, yeah, I'm a hairdresser. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not just a hairdresser.
You try
like,
going in that color room and fucking mixing
Right.
something up
It's
and
hard.
formulating.
It's hard.
You know, it's changed a lot. Like, there's not, like, people are starting to see, like, what we really do.
Because of social
but
media.
It's so funny because when I meet people out and everyone's talking about, oh, what do you do? What do you do? I'm like, I'm a hairstylist. It's almost like my friends, like, have to defend me. They're like, no, but she works at this dope salon. Or,
Right.
Because
Right.
there still
Yes.
is that stigma,
Yes.
but I couldn't care less. Like, it is whatever. But I think with social media, and especially like during COVID, for some reason, like there was this switch where hairstylists started like demanding respect. And
Because people were losing their goddamn minds, not being able to get their hair done.
yeah, and we were like, hey, I guess we are important.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
we're essential, basically.
We are essential.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why Heather and I like are as successful as we are, because social media still plays a huge role in, you know, our jobs and how we like grew, built our books.
Yeah, and you guys are killing it with the TikToks.
Yeah,
and,
give us a follow.
Back in the day when we
White
started,
Opal
we didn't
Little
have
Gems
no
on
social
TikTok.
media. Instagram
White
just
Opal Little
started
Gems.
out. It was just, you
Well,
had
and
to do
that's
word of mouth.
That's what
Now we're really
got me
aging
to where I
ourselves.
am is essentially social media, and like that's what has driven me, and that's my comfort because I know that taking pictures, and that's why I take that so seriously, and I push it for you guys because
Yeah.
that's what got me here, and all of these things like it changed my life.
And you were doing it when no one was really doing it.
I started doing it just because I've told this story a million times, but like Instagram came out, and you guys all know I love taking pictures growing up. Everyone knows.
So annoying.
Cass had the camera, and she would upload the pictures onto Facebook, so we all would have them.
Everyone had
and
the
I'd bring
album
my
on
digital
Facebook.
camera everywhere I went, and I thought at one point I wanted to be a
Sometimes I
photographer.
wish you didn't.
Yeah, I was always like,
They
another
would be like so annoyed by it, and then when Instagram came out, I was like, this app was made for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I could take pictures and put a cute filter on it. Like, I'm all about it. And I just started taking pictures because I literally wanted to filter the photo. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even taking a picture to take a picture of my work. I was just like, oh, this is like a cute little filter. And then I would get made fun of at the salon. I was like, why are you taking another picture of your clients? And literally just from taking pictures and people, it put something in their head. They're like, oh, she loves what she's doing. I could have hated what I was doing. But they think that I love it because I was posting about it. And then they all started wanting me to do their hair.
They even ripped me apart at the barbershop. The fade's not even good. Why are you taking a picture of that? I'm like, because I realized I had random clients coming in. And I'm like, oh, how did you hear about me? Because I suck. Like, none of the walk-ins wanted to come into me at the barbershop because I was a girl. So nobody wanted to, like, sit in my chair. And then I started posting pictures and, like, using hashtags. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And then random people would come from Manalapan because they just read the hashtag or something. And they're like, oh, I'll try her out.
And then you had 100,000 followers, like when no one had
Nobody
Instagram.
had, yeah.
But that's how I started teaching. Like, I mean, now that I'm a mom, I've slowed down on my Instagram and obviously, like, social
Obviously,
media a lot.
yeah, other priorities take
But
place.
back when it first started, like, I was really working towards it. That's how I started teaching and, like, educating
And you
and
traveled the entire world.
because of Instagram.
Yeah.
But you still have people that are like haters about it, like, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. And it's like, that's fine.
It's fine, but if
Right,
you really
and
want to
it's
build
like-
yourself, you have to utilize social media. That's what it is today.
And it's
So
one of those
important.
things that it's like, it's okay, yeah, it's time consuming, but also it's just prioritizing it. Like if you're gonna sit on your phone scroll with a purpose and edit your pictures and fucking post them. It doesn't take that long. Like it only takes as long as you make it.
Yeah.
So super important to grow your portfolio that way. using proper hashtags, get on TikTok like these girls are.
And learn how to take photos. I'd rather post one nice quality picture than 25 dusty, dark, fuzzy pictures just because you want to post. So
Well, and
I think that's huge. Just like learning how to take the picture.
Now too.
Invest in lighting, invest in maybe a
good
camera. I still take pictures on an iPhone because I'm horrible with technology, but I try to do good lighting, make sure the editing looks professional.
Yeah, but the iPhone pictures aren't bad at all.
Like I literally got a new phone just for like to have a better camera, but people I feel like think they get confused with like posting on social media. They want to post like a million things. Like less is better.
Well, and that's an art in itself, and especially this day and age, because it's like, I don't believe in competition because I think that there's enough clients to go around for everybody.
I agree, 100%.
I think there's enough, the angels of abundance do their job, and you're gonna get your clientele. But the competition as far as like knowing how to take photos and edit them properly for your work, like you could do the best blonde hair you've ever seen in your life in person, but if you don't properly
if it's in
take
bad
pictures
lighting,
of it
you can't
and
even
portray
see it.
that onto your page, like you can't, it's not going to get you your ideal client because people are harsh right now.
Yeah, and for me, it's always quality over quantity. We know this. Like, I'll post a picture a month, but it's my feed and the aesthetic of it is so important.
And it's
to me.
so good.
Thanks.
Your feed's great. I just stare at it sometimes. I'm like, wow.
I mean, like, I could do better posting more, but at least it's set up a certain way to attract a certain.
It's the
kind of
thought that
person.
counts.
Yeah, like I used to just post things that I would curl. Like I wouldn't even do the color, like your clients, and I would just be like, waves by me. But like people wouldn't even read the caption.
Waves by Heather.
And they'd be like, oh my God, but that's how like I started
And
to
that's
get
what
people from.
that's what I would tell you guys.
And Cass used to tell me, she's like, just get a friend group. And that's what I did. And then like that friend tells that friend and whatever. But it worked, and they would be like, "Oh, like I saw you did this," and I'm like, "Read the caption." Like
But
I
not
didn't
even,
do that,
and
but
that's
like, it
what
worked.
I tell you guys to post them and to say that in the caption. Like I assisted, I sat there and watched. Like that's still somebody trusting. Oh, look at this salon. Like I remember having this conversation with you when you first started. Like they're gonna look and be like, "Oh, she's working at this reputable place." Like I trust her because she's surrounded by all of these amazing hairstylists. And it's putting the thought in their head. Like you have to remind them that you're doing this.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't go 3 months without posting because people are gonna forget. Like maybe they don't get their hair done often, but then they see you post and they're like, oh, maybe I just wanna treat myself and go get a money piece. Who knows, you know?
I do think it's like scary to put yourself out there, especially the way that like the comments and stuff are so brutal sometimes.
Gotta have thick skin.
You gotta have
They're
thick skin.
so
TikTok
brutal,
hates me
but
right now.
it's usually someone who doesn't know what they're talking
It's okay, it's only
about.
temporary.
Save that for
And
another time.
For every one person that has something bad to say about your work, there's tons of people that it resonates with, and it's so worth it.
You definitely have to have thick skin, and we're seeing that, I mean, all the time, especially with training them and watching them go on the floor. Like Joelle this week is having a rough week, and you can't let it get you down.
Yeah, if you think you're gonna do hair and not have one client, or like have a rough, rude client, like you're setting yourself up for failure. It's gonna happen. And my heart broke for her, like seeing her face was like sad and stressed, and I literally wanted to cry. And I was like, I'm not even gonna say anything because I feel like I gotta leave her alone, like she's in the moment. But it's gonna help her have a thicker skin and also know how to talk to her clients and have consultations when you have a rough client.
And
Like not
even
everybody's
that,
the
like I said
ideal
to her, I
client.
texted her the other day, like the probability of this happening to you is so high because you don't know your client, you don't know their personality, you don't know what they like, what don't they like. You have a client that sits in your chair 4 times in a row, you now know that they think cool is warm,
Yes.
warm is cool,
Yes.
their hair lifts like shit.
They'll say one thing, but you know to do something else.
Exactly. Like it's just the name of the game, and it's gonna happen to you 17 years down the line. Like it's really not that serious, but it's so easy to make it so serious when it's happening to you.
But
Lose
for
sleep
some
about
people, that could be the end. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking about this with Emily. Like, just having one bad experience could make you quit, and everyone just needs to know that it's gonna happen. It happened to me this week. I had a new client. She didn't like her hair, and I like did what I could to like rectify the
Busted
situation.
your ass.
Yeah, and I just said to her like, listen, I don't know you yet, so like as I get to know you, like we'll tweak this. It's okay. But it's important to know how to navigate those situations too, because it's gonna happen to all of us continuously, always and forever.
But I think it's also important too, especially as like baby stylists, like put yourself in like that uncomfortable situation, because like
Makes you confident.
right, and then like when you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, it like forces you to grow.
100%.
And I think that's like super, super important.
That's all things in life, and that's why we're saying not to put so many restrictions on your book in the beginning, because you're not going to grow that way.
Right.
Like, of course, we can all do root touch-ups all day long, and it's great, make great money, but you're not going to grow. And if that's the goal, then you need to try everything at least once and work on it.
Like you said, it
Practice
just
makes
makes us like more valuable and more well-rounded.
perfect. Yeah. Even if knowing what you don't like to do helps, you know?
I just think being a well-rounded stylist is really key. Yes, building your book, but also when, say, if you just want to do like balayages, but you're not fully booked with just balayages, and then the holidays come, and then winter comes, and then your book is completely dead. Like, I feel like for me, taking the men clientele and like kind of like everybody, my book is like, I'm booked all the time. Like, I don't have really like slow months because the men are still coming in every week, 2 weeks, or. Well, a lot of the new girls want to do balayages for the picture. Like, I'll take all the root touch-ups. I don't care, because they're still my bread and butter. Like,
Me too, and
I
they're
think it's
consistent.
super, super important.
And being able to bail,
build,
like we said,
but-
bail somebody out. Like if somebody cancels and they're sick for 5 days and you have to do all their clients, like cool for you, you're making the money. But if you don't know how to do all of that person's clients, like that sucks. If you're the least busiest person, you know.
Mm-hmm. And you don't know where your life's going to take you. Where you might move to a different town why they don't do these certain
Exactly.
things, or you move like. You know, say you move to a town where they have more like eclectic styles and it's more like pixie haircuts that nobody wants to do, or more men haircuts that nobody wants to do. But if you're more well-rounded, you're like, all right, let me take these clients first, and then I could filter out and find my own clientele. I just think we're all in this because we love doing hair, but at the end of the day, you need to make money. And I think that being well-rounded in the beginning, especially building your book, is super, super important.
Also, trends change. So right now, everyone's lived in, and balayage is a thing. But like, there's gonna be a time where
A color comes.
I mean, think about like shags coming back. Like, you guys were like, what do I do here?
Oh no, I hear the word pixie and I'm out.
You know, so they are going to continue to change. Like, chunky highlights came back for a hot minute. I don't know what's happening with that, but like,
I'll still get a charm salon.
I'm down.
I could still do. I think I could do that.
It's way easier. Yeah. Everyone
Chunky
that says no to
highlights,
it, I'm
it's
like,
easy.
Yeah, I taught you guys that. Slice, slice, slice.
yeah.
Make that shit stripey.
Slice, 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 face.
Well, when we first started, that's all you did.
Yeah,
Slice,
that was a
slice,
full head of
slice.
highlights.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
going back to like the new clients, like I almost wish, like I had somebody this week very similar to what happened to you. She didn't like her hair. She DM'd me and was just like, hey, like I want to come back, and like it was like the tone, like whatever. But I love how she gave me a second chance.
Exactly.
Because you need to see them again to like redeem yourself, because the first time, you know, they show you multiple inspos and then you go in the back and you're like, wait, but this inspo had that, but what if she meant this? Like whatever. There's so many things.
Constant
because
game.
They don't
Mind game.
really know.
And the
Right.
consultation,
I
you
went on
can
her
layer
Instagram
it on
and
top
I
of
was
each
like
other. and
stalking
it's
her old photos to see like how she has her hair.
Smart.
And then I looked at the inspo and I'm like, that's not what she usually gets, you know? And then she ended up coming back, and I went home that night and like stalked her Instagram. The next day, nailed it. And now she's
Well, 'cause
possibly
sometimes-
going to be a good client of mine. But you need a second chance, because, and I just wish that more of these newer clients would give you a second chance.
And just while I have the thought, because I thought about it yesterday too, that I wanted to say, like, a lot of people feel uncomfortable. If you're a client and you're, for whatever reason, listening to this, they feel uncomfortable saying that they don't like something, or they think that the entire salon, this happened when we first opened, I remember, like, the client didn't feel comfortable saying that she didn't like something, and she thought that everybody was like talking about and judging her. And like that's a you thing. Like that's an insecure thing. Nobody notices. Like if you come in to get your hair fixed, people, nobody notices that you're there to get your hair fixed, because we're all focused on
Our
our
clients and
client
what
and
we're
what
doing.
we have to do and all the other shit that's going on in the salon. Like maybe you run it by someone else, like what should I have done?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's this whole catastrophe and maybe people know about it. But like for the most part, if you have somebody has to tweak something, they have no idea. The rest of the salon has no idea that this is happening.
Right.
And you
it was
don't have to
something
feel
so
weird.
minor, but like
So minor.
I don't know. I just appreciate that when you get the second chance, when they come back and they're like, "Hey, like great job last time, but this," and then you're like, "Got it. Now I know." Like you know, you need to see them a couple times.
Well,
to
and
know.
if we are discussing it, it's because we're just trying to help each other.
Trying to formulate.
Right, you're not talking shit.
No,
you're
we want
literally
everyone
like,
to be happy, and we're just trying to help each other. And
Yeah.
no matter what, like we're the most seasoned style. Well, there's a few of us that are, you know, older, and we still ask each other. I'm always like, what would Lindsay do? Like,
Yeah.
I'll text her. You know, we're just trying to help each other. We're not.
Well, that was like
talking shit.
my one client that wanted the light pieces. Thank God she just came the second time. It was like perfect.
Yeah,
Loved it. But the
yeah.
first time I'm like, you're literally hot pink. Like I literally don't know what to do. And I'm gonna be so behind. I think like everyone in the salon was like in the back looking at her hair.
Yeah.
She's like, is everything okay? I was like, no, I really just want everyone's brain on how to formulate this because maybe they have a better option.
Yeah.
And it was a little rough the first session, but she came in, it was great. Sometimes you need another session.
There's also so many salons where people can't do that, and that's so scary to me because I've never really worked in an environment like that. But I've had other stylists tell me like it's so cutthroat, and they don't help each other, and they steal clients.
Well, it goes back
do
to
all
what
those
Cass was
things.
saying about like the competitiveness. Like,
Yeah.
it's so refreshing to be in a salon where like everyone genuinely just wants to see each other do well, and like that's the difference between like a bad experience and a good experience, and it's probably like one of the biggest like contributions to like why Heather and I are so successful is because we have mentors and people that we look up to that literally just want to see us succeed.
No one's gonna let you fall on your ass. Like,
But also,
No one.
it's, when we, like September and October are very, very busy months for us with weddings. And I have a lot of Saturday clients that are like, there every 4 weeks and they're like, Heather, like, what am I gonna do? Like, you're not here. And I'm like, I know. But it's like great to be like, okay, you can sit with Devan or you can sit with so-and-so. Like,
And nobody gets mad, nobody
No.
gets salty.
no, that's something clients need to know for sure.
come on, Joey.
Do you need to answer that?
No, he's because you're TikTok. Devin tried to prank Joey on TikTok, and now he's calling me. Sorry, Joey.
What was I just saying? Oh, that's what clients need to know too, is we would much rather you come here and sit with someone else than go somewhere else. Like, you don't have to feel uncomfortable about
No, like I
that
have
at
clients all the time. They're like, I really want to get my hair cut with Allie. I'm like, go. She
Please
cuts
go.
my hair. Please, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like, just do it.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not mad at all.
Yeah, or if I have a client that wants to change gears and do something like Vivid, I would rather Mish do it than...
Yeah.
Like, I could do it, but she just loves it and she's really good at it. So,
Well, I think it's super important for a salon to work as a team because, yes, everyone is basically well-rounded, if I say that word one more time. But everyone has their strengths. Like, say, like, if someone wanted a bob, you know what, go to Allie. Or if someone wanted the
Exactly.
Vivids, go to Mish. Like, oh, she wants a pixie now and she has long hair, all right, go to Lena. And, like, no one's butthurt about their client leaving
Yeah.
to someone else's chair. Like, I think
We'd
it's
rather them be
extremely
here
important
than
for everyone to help
somewhere else.
everybody out,
Yeah.
What I was going to say about the client giving a second chance. Like I said before, your consultation, I could sit there and have a 2-hour-long consultation.
Yeah,
with
I
somebody.
do.
Like you,
Even with
but
my men
even
clients,
with that,
I do.
Even with that, there's so much that you can go over, and you literally need multiple sessions with this person to understand exactly what they
Spill on
are,
all
like getting to actually know them. Like we said, their hairline, their hair, if they think cool is warm, if they think like there are so many things. And that's why like when a client is unhappy, I'm just like, if you only knew how many questions that we should actually ask you.
Yeah.
And we literally only have time realistically for like 10 of the questions.
Yeah.
Like we could keep going deep and deep and deep and deep about it,
Yeah.
your history, and do all of these little fucking things in our head, like a
Yeah.
little diagram to figure it out. But like sometimes you need to know the person. You need
Right.
6
Yeah.
times before you're
Yeah.
like, okay.
also too many questions make them nervous. So there's like a
Exactly.
fine line.
Yeah.
No,
and
I
we've
say
told them
that to them.
before.
I say there's so many different ways I could say like my men because they're like you're asking a question like usually the barber just does whatever. I'm like, but this is why you're unhappy
Right.
because you're not really explaining. But them as a stylist or barber should be asking these questions because a lot of clients don't know there's so many different ways to do your hair. Cut, color, whatever. So I think it is super important. And I say like, sorry, I'm bombarding you with questions. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Right.
And that's
Yep,
it.
because they genuinely don't know,
It's not their job
Especially
to know.
now with color, there's so many different things. Like, I want a balayage. Okay, well, you have black box dye. That's not happening. So
And
we're going to
people
explain and ask
feel-
other questions of what you actually want. And we could achieve it a certain way.
And I could imagine, I mean, I don't know, but I can just imagine that people that are on Instagram but like don't really get their hair done often probably feel so overwhelmed when they're like, what do I want? Like, I don't know. And that's why I think that our forums are important because it's kind of like, okay, you don't need to say what you want on the phone, right? Like you can kind of just click around and then
Yeah.
like, we'll figure it out for you. And like, I tell them at the desk too, if they're like, oh, well, what should I book it for? I'm kind of like, just book it for whatever and put enough time in it and like have them figured out. You don't want to make them feel like, You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just not confident about
That they're
coming
like
in.
making your life complicated
Exactly.
or whatever.
They're not qualified to know.
Right.
So you can ask them 6 different ways. What do they think that they want? They don't need to know.
They
It's
don't
not
need to
their
know.
job to know. It's our job to know. So, and you want to make them feel at ease. Sometimes asking too many questions is.
Yep.
So for me, like I always if you're a new client in my book, I want a full foil.
Your cats.
Yeah.
I won't ever leave a girl hanging.
Whatever.
I didn't think you were
Forget
gonna-
it.
So never mind.
No, but like this client was so apologetic. I was like, no, like thank you, because I was genuinely confused, and I went home bothered, and like I'm just happy that you're back. Like, and she was like, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, no, like I'm happy.
They just
you're
need to
here.
know how much sleep we lose over this shit because we really do. Like,
Oh.
I lay awake at night thinking about that, like one little
man.
bleed mark that you're
She
never
lays in
gonna
the tub.
know. I lay in the tub thinking about. It's just like it means a lot to us. We want you to be happy, and when you're not happy, it like stays with
tell
us
us.
forever.
Just
tell
tell
us
us.
and be nice about it.
Like, I don't think they realize that like literally you'll go home or you'll cry on your way home.
Yeah.
Joelle. Or you'll text everybody like this happened. Like, they don't realize how serious we take it.
And we're always thinking about how to do it better. Like, what could I have done? We're asking each other, like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done? Could have done differently. It's rough.
And even like yesterday, Heather overcharging her, not overcharging, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Double charging by accident, $700. Like, I'm walking the baby, he's crying. I go inside, I'm like, Joey, she charged someone twice $700. He's like, we gotta make it right. Like, it's an emergency. Call her right now. I'm like, we have to do it through text, so we have like text, written.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'll have Heather text her, and I'm like, I'll just text her myself. So the baby's crying, I'm bouncing them in the thing, like trying to make it right, because those things, like, people will think like you're an asshole, and it's like.
But it was like literally a
behind
credit
the
card
scenes.
issue that was like frozen. And then we looked at the thing and I was like, no, it says the total was just 7, so there's no way it charged twice.
It said total, and then you would think total would say like over
That it would be the
$1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
Crazy.
like, it's listed twice, but it says 700 and blah blah blah.
Highest ticket ever.
Oh my god! I was
Of
like,
course.
Hi, we charged you twice.
just casually $700.
See?
But yeah, the behind the scenes stuff that nobody sees, you know?
Yeah.
Just out here doing it. I was just gonna bring up the funny thing that I thought about the dinghy. So
That's
Heather-
a triggering word.
okay, so we get
Dingy.
a lot of hate on TikTok at times. Mostly love, but
TikTok's
some hate.
a whole different ballgame.
TikTok is a whole
That's
different
what
world.
I don't do.
So Heather did a consultation with her client on the video, and
A client I've known for a very long
right,
time.
and I'm to blame for your consultations because I trained you, and we're just honest people, right?
Right.
And Heather said to her client very nonchalantly, she was like,
College water is making
"College water's making your hair dingy."
Yeah.
So now they sent me this TikTok and they were like, everyone's flipping out because I read it as dingy. I couldn't actually listen to it because I had Stone on me. I didn't have my headphones. I didn't want to wake him up, whatever. So I'm just reading all of the comments. Like, the second you called my hair dingy, I'd be out.
Yeah.
And I'm just, you're like, dingy. And I thought that she said like her ends were dingy or something. I'm like, oh yeah, dingy ends. Like, they're a little dingy.
But did she say it or you said it?
I said it. Like, I was just like, I haven't seen her since she left for school.
I don't think that's a bad.
And I said, like, quote, the sentence was, like, quote
Dingy.
unquote, like, the college water's making your hair dingy. Like, we're going to have to, like,
Like
touch your
brassy
ends.
and icky.
Oh,
I would have said
dull
icky.
and like disgusting.
Dull.
So here's the thing, y'all.
Dingy.
But, again, it was a personal client that I've known for a while.
Yeah.
We went to school
Even
together.
if it wasn't.
Yeah, and whatever. They just took it and ran with it. Like, that wasn't even the point of the
Yeah, but then
consultation.
fellow Jersey girls.
Yes, and then
you came
now
and backed
East
us up.
Coasters in general. We're like, you guys have obviously never been to the Northeast because this is how we talk to each other. And I'm like,
yeah.
thank God.
Somebody was like, you non-Jersey softies. I was like, oh my God, I swear to God, Adam.
Some girls like, you clearly haven't been to Massachusetts. It just, and also I did say to Devan too, you're so serious when you're doing your consultations because you take them seriously, that your face is serious.
Yes, but also like Cass said, like that And for also, not even because of casting, I'm very handsy, I'm very, like, I have the RBF, like, I just look aggressive, and that's not, like, where I'm coming from, that's not the place I'm coming from
You're a little
at all.
aggressive.
Like, even, like, right now, like, I'm just, like, you know?
Yeah.
So, on video, and I said to Devan, like, okay, maybe when we post, like, we should make sure we don't look like...
Yeah, but I think it's hard because not everyone knows your personality. So it's like,
Well,
that's
that's the other thing is, you're seeing
1
2
minute
minutes
and also not
of
knowing
a
that you know
3-hour
that client.
appointment.
It's not like you're just meeting this new client and you're just like.
And like I
you're
said, they
dingy.
wouldn't be here if her incident looked dingy. Like they wouldn't be here. She wouldn't be here getting
She needs her hair done.
She needs her hair
Yeah.
done. That's why she's here.
Yeah.
She even agreed. And again, she was here for 3 hours. Like, you saw 2 minutes of the appointment. Like, you didn't see our relationship there, you know?
And
So
you can't censor yourself hoping that the internet's not going to take it out of context, because they will always. It doesn't matter what
Oh
you
yeah,
do.
the amount of things that I edit and take out because I'm like, someone's gonna say
God
something.
forbid, yeah.
Or sometimes I leave it because I'm like the engagement.
you're like,
Yeah, there's
TikTok. Can't wait for this one the algorithm to go up on this one.
no, yeah.
It's hard work, but then like people like see our personality
No, it's
and
rough.
like
Right, one of my
wanna go with us.
clients comments, and they're like, you guys don't know Heather at all. Like, she's a sweetheart, she's this, she's that, like, whatever. But
Well, and I think once you realize that like everything is always somebody's perception of something. So like when they're looking at that video, they're gonna comment based on like just what they think and how they're perceiving it, which is just your opinion.
or maybe the experiences that they've had.
Right.
And TikTok hates hairstylists. We know this. It's such a thing.
Right.
really?
So, oh yeah. I don't know.
I didn't
like,
know that.
In like, I don't know. If you read through the comments, it's always like these hairstylists are
Yeah.
out of
Well,
control.
because then
what
it's
the
like a lot of people are
price
like, oh, overpriced, you're rude, blah, blah, blah.
That was another comment on there. Was like, somebody was like, oh, like, how much do you charge? And I was like, blah, blah, blah. And then all of them were like, that's ridiculous. I live in New York and I get charged this. Like,
Okay, then
Then
don't
go
come
there.
here.
And
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
that's
that's
just
fine.
values. Like
what
if
you
you
pay for.
value your hair, you're gonna pay whatever for your hair. If you value getting a facial, you're gonna pay whatever for your facial. Like that's not even a thing.
no.
Like stop, people.
Right. That's what I was saying to him. Like, they're making something a thing that wasn't even a thing.
not
Like,
even a
they
thing.
totally made it into something it wasn't.
Like if I think something's if I'm like, ooh, that's a lot. Like I don't value that. Like
Right.
Chris could charge me $10,000 for
I would
a
definitely
DJ
not pay it.
session, and I'd be like, that's valuable because we like good music.
And also, like I was actually talking about this dinner at last night, and people asked me how much I charge for a men's cut, and I said my price, and they're like, what? I would never pay that. Okay, then don't
don't
sit in my
don't
chair.
come.
That's fine. But also, when I started out, I did not charge that. I started charging the busier I got, the more booked I got, the more that it was so hard to get a lot of my clients in. I'm not someone that closes my book. If you can make an appointment, you deserve it. But then I'm like, okay, now it's just getting too overcrowded. So every year I basically raise it a little bit and a little bit more just to not
have
make
to-
my book so crazy.
Right.
But it's like, so
Work
these
smarter, not
prices where
harder.
people, like they don't just start out from cosmetology with these crazy prices. Like it's a price for a reason.
And how about like, oh, good for them? Like good for you that you're charging that. Why is it gotta be like, I would never pay that? Like when I find out what makeup, when people try to talk shit to me like about what some of these hairstylists are charging like to do bridal hair and stuff, I'm like, you're talking to the wrong person. Because like if they can get away with
Hello.
that,
Read the
and
room.
like they are working smarter, not harder. They're gonna do 9 weddings a year instead of fucking 50. Like
Yeah.
who cares? Good for them.
But like,
They have more
at your
time with
job,
their family.
you're allowed to get a raise, but like, we're not allowed to grow because
Right.
we're considered over, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Then
it's the
don't
same-
come. And I've had some guys like, listen, like I love you so much, but it's a little steep for me. So like, would you mind if I pushed it back 3 weeks instead of 2? No, I don't care. Come when you
Do
wanna
you,
come.
boo.
Do you, honey? I don't care. But I do that just so my book isn't in crazy. I'm like, you guys get so mad that I don't have Friday nights open, so this is gonna eliminate some of the people that don't want to pay that price, which is fine. It's a luxury.
It's a luxury service.
So, have you guys been to the grocery store lately? Like, what do you expect from us? Like,
Yeah. I gotta feed my child.
It
Okay,
is
things
what
are
it is.
expensive.
Literally.
But there's different areas of where prices are cheaper. There's different salons and barbershops where things are cheaper, and
Right, there's levels to things. Like you don't have to come.
you could
here.
easily find someone in your price range.
Right.
Like if you don't want to pay that, that's fine.
Right.
and I will say, like, our prices are pretty in line with the industry standard for our area. We're not
I don't-
greedy. We're
yeah,
not trying to
nothing's
like
out of control. deal.
Yeah, even your bridal prices, like.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, everything goes up every year as inflation does, and we're not gonna take a loss every year and make less money. We have to stay somewhat on the same page or ahead. But people.
Exactly. There's certain things that people want to pay for, and there's certain things that they don't. Some people want to pay for expensive clothes but want a cheap haircut. That's fine.
Right, it's all just you and what you think, but you don't
perspective.
get to put other people down because that's what you think and that's your opinion.
Well, and that's what I say to Heather all the time. I'm like, we started this TikTok for fun. Like,
And
we're gonna
sometimes
keep
it's
it
not
light.
fun.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But
hard
it
work.
turned into
Don't get me
something-
wrong.
we still have fun with it. Like obviously,
Yeah.
we're goofing around. But we
Yeah.
had somebody comment that they're coming way out of state to come to the salon.
It happens
because
all
they
the
saw us on
time.
TikTok. Like,
Well, that's like
people
our
come up to us
class
at the
we
bar
had.
and are like, "Oh my god, I saw you on TikTok." I'm like, "No way! You're just
Yes.
you're
Oh my God.
you're blowing smoke up
submitting
my
to the
ass."
client
Like,
form as the TikTok girls.
I'm dead. I had a girl in Trader Joe's. I was walking out with the baby and I had the cart and she was like, I was like, go in front of me. She was just holding flowers. She's like, no, you have the baby. I'm like, no, you literally just have flowers. Like, go in front of me. And she like got a little in front of me and she turned around. She's like, I follow you on Instagram. I've been following you for like 10 years. He's so cute. He's so cute. So I was like, oh, thank you. And then she walked out with me to my car. It was cute. But yeah, you don't know. And that happens all the time. Me and Allie had somebody come from Florida to our class and she brought her family and they made like a vacation out of it. And I'm just like,
That's so cool.
You're amazing.
But it's crazy.
She's like, you're amazing. I'm like,
but
no.
perfect example, like for us, like when we are at these bars, like we can't be acting a fool because like these people follow us. These people follow us on
Yeah.
TikTok, and we're like, like, which is fine. But like, you know, you gotta watch
You
what
girls
you say.
can
You
act
don't
a
want to pick
fool.
a fight.
You're
Yeah, you're
so
fine. Just don't
classy.
put that on TikTok.
Oh, we'll pick a fight.
We're gonna pick a fight one of these days.
Yeah.
Literally.
You
No,
fuck with any of these little ones,
trust me.
stay ready.
we're coming for you.
Also,
you don't
though,
wanna
we
get
are
past
hairstylists. Like, we don't have to take ourselves too seriously. Like, we're just, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you see me acting a fool, no, you didn't.
Mind your business.
Mind your
I had a long
damn business. Yeah, but there's like pros and cons. But I mean, we love doing it.
It
Wouldn't
makes the
change
job
it.
fun.
No.
But I'm sure when you guys were young, it wasn't as like happening. Like
She
social
said
media.
when we were young.
When you were oldies, younger, but like when you guys
Listen,
were first
girls.
starting out, like social media
No,
wasn't a
I would
thing.
get because Instagram just
No,
started.
it
when we
just started.
and I would get ripped apart doing barbering. Like when I would
Which-
post stuff like teaching, I would and I would honestly just delete, block, don't care.
And this is good for you girls, having a TikTok and getting these comments, and like, it's just gonna make you like stronger and more confident.
It just-
because
honestly, it gives
you have
you
to
engagement.
just
Don't
not
just
see it. Like, you
ignore
have to put
them.
your blinders on and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if I took every single comment that people left seriously, like I literally am so unfazed
Yeah.
by all of it because I
I'm
just
not,
don't
obviously.
care.
That's why I don't have TikTok.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
I was a
she
little
takes it to
bothered.
heart.
Like, oh, like,
Well,
I
you
don't
get
want
like
people thinking that.
you get a
but, like,
second, and then you're like,
But then I
no.
called Devan and she's like, we all know you're not this, and your client knows you're not this, so who cares?
For
I'm
me,
you're
it's
right.
like I want to defend you guys, and TikTok doesn't give me enough sentences. You know how I do.
But yeah, they like cut your words off.
Like when they came
The
after
most-
Devan for rolling her eyes, like
Anyone who
Meanwhile-
knows me knows that rolling my eyes is literally my only personality trait.
See,
Like,
Lauren
literally.
reads the comments and she's like, fumes are coming out of her ears, and I'm reading them and I'm like dying laughing, like sending them, and
It's
she's like,
funny.
stop sending them. And I'm like, I literally, like, nothing inside of me gets like mad. Like, she gets mad, I'm like crying.
I'm like
You
in
have to
between.
laugh.
I get
You have
mad for a
to.
second and then I'm like, don't
Well,
care.
I get mad when they come after you guys, and so I'd rather just not know.
Yeah,
'Cause
she doesn't-
That's why we love
at
you.
the end of the day, those people are so irrelevant.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so irrelevant.
These accounts, like when you click on them, like
One
Like if you can't tell someone's being
User
funny or having
17,000
sarcasm with a
million.
client, like then just don't
Like, I'm
comment.
sorry,
Go
you're
on.
no fun. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, right.
Like the one where you're rolling your eyes, it was Bree, and like
We're
she's so
friends.
funny.
We're
Like,
But I
kind
think
of friends
because
now.
everybody
That's the
loves
only
Bree
thing
so
you
much
do
too,
when she
they were
sits
like,
down.
yeah, she's hilarious, and like we just banter with her. Like, and Devin's like a butterfly. She's like
Thanks.
the sweetest thing. But
I don't know about
TikTok
that.
was acting like she was
Oh, Lena.
the Antichrist. It was so wild. So ignorance is bliss for me.
Yes.
I don't need
Do we have any questions, Chris, that you think we should?
Well, what
Yeah, I
would you
think we
guys?
covered-
I mean, what would you guys tell us? Like now that you guys
Stop
are
rolling your eyes.
I would
okay.
I would say you guys, it's been a year and a half. You guys have surpass any expectations that I've had. We should have had Joey here to listen to his spiel.
my
about-
God.
He would start
His
crying.
spiel about the little
Joey would
ones. He
start
would start
crying.
crying about how proud he is of them.
Yeah.
But I would say just continue doing what you're doing and just stay true to yourselves and keep treating your clients with the most upright respect and keep being a team player because you have come so far. And I would say that you'll be able to go wherever you want in this industry. You'll be able to specialize in something. At some point, cut out the clients that you don't want for sure. I think you just need to keep going at the pace that you've been going.
Yeah.
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 Well,
and
thank
what-
you guys for everything.
Yeah, seriously.
You're welcome.
We wouldn't be here.
Well, Heather, you're getting sappy over there.
It's usually this one.
It's like so cool to see because we didn't get the mentorship that you guys got, and it makes me so proud to be even just a little part of that, like, because I want to be like who I needed, you know, like all the days that we went home and like cried for getting yelled at, and like no one really, there wasn't people that like took the initiative to like put us under their wing and
Or just training in general.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I was thinking about it when I was driving yesterday, thinking about what we were going to talk about today, and I was like, it had to have been so like I was so scared going on the floor because I really didn't
You literally
know
went on the
anything.
floor
Like
with
I just got thrown on the floor. Like maybe I
Nothing,
watched.
no
I didn't
knowledge.
have like models or hands-on time. So it was really scary. And then I think like you guys were probably still so scared and not even realizing like how much training you actually had. And like you really
Yeah.
don't, that's another like lesson for everyone listening. If you are just in school or whatever, like you really don't learn until you're doing it. Like, and sometimes, okay, maybe you're on the cusp of being ready or not being ready, but you just have to rip the Band-Aid off and go and start flying by yourself because you're not going to learn if I'm always there, like, you know, babying you and looking over every little thing. Like, sometimes you have to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's like one of the hardest things about this is you just have to do it.
yeah, and we have all the faith in you guys, like that you are capable. Joelle also, and Allie's almost there. You're more than capable, but it does feel good that you trust us enough to still come to us, and we come to you too. That's the relationship we should always have. But you guys are more ready than we ever were,
Yes.
and you know, it just,
Yeah, like I feel like where you guys are at, it took us years to get there.
Yeah.
Because like there wasn't training. Like our training was you're washing hair and like, oh, what is she doing?
What is she doing over there?
And like paying attention, and like that was like how we knew or thought we knew what to do. And even then, like there's no training, and like I feel like that just started happening, which is like insane for how long this industry has been here.
And it's taken me,
Yeah.
like, I knew that I wanted a really structured, awesome training program. And even it's getting more structured now. It's been 3.5 years, but it's taken me like this long to be like, how exactly do I want to do it? How is it going to be the most valuable during the time that we have? Like, what's going to make the most sense to make it go quicker? Like, you guys were my first ones.
they're like the test dummies, which by
Right.
the way gave us unrealistic expectations because
Yeah.
I never taught before, and I'm still learning, and I'm hard on myself about it.
Yeah, but you
And
don't
I
give
have
yourself.
Joey to talk to about it. He
Yeah,
always,
but you
like,
don't give
hypes
yourself
me
enough
up.
credit. You know
But
how many
it's hard.
days I'd come in and I'm like, oh, I'm not even working, but like, I'm just gonna watch Lauren.
I know, and it's so humbling. It's hard though, and I take it
Yeah.
really seriously. So my advice to other people out there too that are just starting is to really find an owner and a manager that like genuinely care
It
about
literally
your progression.
makes all the difference.
Yeah.
It really does.
And paying attention, like, I know I've had interviews with girls before, and they're like, I'm just not learning where I am, or I'm just not this. And I'd look at the salon they're working at, and I'm like, but I think your expectations are not aligned because you are, like, you just don't realize what you are learning,
Yeah.
right? Like, things that you don't think, like just watching the girl in the salon that's the most busy, that has the best client retention, like what is she doing that you could take from her? And then the other girl, maybe the second best, what is she doing that you could take from her? Like you could take all of these little things from all these other stylists that you
and
like.
everyone it works differently. There's going to be things that people do that speak to you more than other things. I think about when I was learning the people that I was watching, and sometimes I still think about those same things, and not everyone's going to
Like
learn.
things get soaked in your brain and you never forget them.
And like it's important to pay attention to everyone because there's certain things that maybe Lizzie does or Allie does or whatever that are going to click more than what I'm doing.
right.
So, yeah, for people that are like still learning, it's important not to shadow just one person, but to pay attention to the whole dynamic and everything that's going on.
Also, too, I think it goes back to what I was saying before about like staying the course. Like, it's very rare that you're gonna find your first forever like hair home on like your first try. That's why it's like so important to like stalk a salon on social media and like make sure you do like your research before you just, okay, I'm just gonna like jump right into it without even having any sort of game plan.
Yeah.
Like I knew in the back of my head, like, okay, like White Opal, reputable, in a great area, dope ass owner, like young girls.
But also, like, find your
Training
tribe.
program,
If you're interested in doing like edgy things, and there's so many salons around here that would be better suited, like, find the people that resonate with you too, and the kind of work that you want to do.
Right, like you might not essentially, we hate the fit in thing.
Right.
But you might not essentially fit in somewhere, and like it's not a bad thing. It's not like, oh my God, she doesn't fit here. It's just like people's energy and your aura and your vibrations are just gonna align with other people, and it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
And when you find those people, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. You know?
Exactly.
And I just, like thinking back to when I first opened, like I always was like, who's my sit? Because I left, like I knew you were gonna come with me shortly after, but like that was really it. And I'm like, what does my future look like 2-3 years from now?
Yeah,
like
who's
who
my
are
team?
these people in my life? Like it's just so cool because like I didn't know and I would envision. Like I can't even think about who they are. Like I would talk to Joey about it. Like what's my life look like? And now I'm just like I think about all these amazing. Well,
Lena was the missing piece. She was
the missing piece.
the
It was like the
energy that we
puzzle.
needed.
It was like the puzzle, and like there was just a piece missing. Now we just put it.
I was
in.
pregnant and I had a baby, so that's all I was focused on for a couple
But like
years.
now that you're here, it makes so much sense, and like you just brought like. some
And I haven't
fun.
been here since
Comedic
really
fun.
she's been working here, so it's cool to see like your guys' relationships and everyone getting along.
Well, now it feels like you've always been.
Yeah,
here.
I'm like,
Yeah, like
what
even though I
was-
wasn't here, like I already kind of knew everyone. I would always like randomly come, or like when you had events, like all the other girls were here, and like
you just
I always just
automatically
like
fit
I was
in,
just so
yeah.
comfortable already. Like I wasn't nervous to come here. So
Because it can be nerve-wracking. I like forget walking into a new salon with like 15 girls. Like
It sucks to be the newbie.
Yeah, but Lena
there's
was, like,
always a rough
already-
patch.
I feel like I already knew everyone.
Sunny just went through her patch.
Yep. Now she's good.
She's past her 3. It's like a 3-month. It's rough. It's like a 3-month mark.
You're like, oh, they hate me. What do I do? I don't want to go to work today. But then you get through it.
Well, you
We're
just
just
gotta.
grumpy old ladies. Like we're tired.
No,
That's
you're
all
not
it is.
old.
And then you get the perfect assistant, and then they're ready to go on the floor, and you're like, we have to start the whole process all over again.
So sad.
So sad, but
And even your clients are like, oh, I miss that one.
yeah.
Like I
I
know.
know, but this is the journey. You gotta
Yeah.
stay with it.
But now Sunny's turning into that person. That I'm
Yes.
like, oh, she gives such a good massage.
It takes a while to
Yeah.
like figure it out. I mean, everything. Practice makes perfect, you know?
That's right.
Even your
You need a
your-
couple wake-up calls every once in a while.
Yeah, your shampoo. So
Yeah.
yeah, if I had advice, I would say girls just stay humble, keep doing what you're doing. Don't get an ego, and
And don't let things bother you. Like don't take it home.
Just let it go.
You know.
every situation makes you a better stylist.
Already shut up.
Shush.
I watched Frozen a lot.
I think that about wraps this one up, right? All right, girls. Thanks for coming.
Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
having us.
Oh, I could cheers now.
Love y'all.
Stay tuned for the next Rare Gems podcast, and thank you guys for listening so much. Make sure to like and subscribe.
And follow White Opal Gems on
Follow
TikTok.
White Opal Little Gems and White Opal on TikTok.
And
Hairco.
DJ Sprite.
DJ Sprite.
Thank you all, Shore Entertainment, for producing this.
That's a wrap.
Sayonara.
Suckers.